What's up, everyone? Welcome back to King Anime Review, and for this video I will be reviewing episode 196 of Boruto Naruto Next Generation, titled A Binding Force. So this episode was fantastic. The artwork was consistently great throughout the episode, unlike in last week's episode. And the anime once again added in some things that wasn't in the manga, but it drastically improved the story from the manga. And I just really liked the way they did this episode and the way they executed it. So it started off with Sarada and Mitsuki coming into Boruto's house, coming to visit him, and they was trying to spy on Kawaki. And Mitsuki actually introduced himself to Kawaki, and Kawaki was like, yeah, I'm not so naive that I'm gonna shake your hand and I don't know nothing about you. And then Mitsuki said, oh, so you noticed, or something like that. And he had a bunch of snakes coming out. That's one thing I found kind of weird, because I thought Kawaki was gonna rip those snakes right out of Mitsuki's sleeves. But yeah, it was some funny moments in there. Himawari was teasing Boruto too about Boruto being happy that his dad asked to train with him. And then we had the training match. It was Naruto versus Boruto in a shinobi sparring match, and Sarada, Mitsuki, and Kawaki and Himawari were watching. Now in the manga, this sparring match did happen in the manga, Boruto versus Naruto. However, Sarada and Mitsuki wasn't there, so that's something that the anime added in. And I'm actually happy that they added that in. I'm glad that they added that in, because it played into what happened throughout the rest of the episode. And it ended up playing into Sarada's motivation for wanting to get stronger, because he didn't want to get left behind. You know, kind of like how Sakura was at the end of part 1, where she didn't want to get left behind either, and then she trained with Tsunade. But yeah, it played into that. And the episode, since it was titled A Binding Force, Naruto was explaining later on in the episode how everybody's connected to chakra and stuff. But anyways, as far as the sparring fight go, they actually really impressed me with the animation. This is not one from what I've seen, I don't think this episode was animated by Studio Period. I could be wrong about that. But I wasn't expecting them to have a super good animation until we got to the Delta fight, which is in 2 episodes. But yeah, the animation here was good. It wasn't like fantastic or anything, but it was good for an episode that I wasn't expecting them to have, you know, necessarily super good animation. But yeah, it was pretty good. Boruto, he started off using, you know, his regular Shadow Clone Jutsu and stuff, and just his regular abilities. And Kawaki was like, hey, you got to use the Karma Seal, because that's the only way we're going to find out about the Karma Seal is if you use it. And Naruto agreed with Kawaki. So Sarada didn't think it was a good idea, but Naruto was like, yeah, we do need to learn more about it. So yeah, he let Boruto use the Karma Seal, or he suggested that Boruto use it. And then Boruto, he was like, well, I can't really do it at will or whatever. And Kawaki was like, oh, so you're not used to it yet? And then he powered his Karma Seal up, and then Boruto's powered up simultaneously. And then that's when Mitsuki and Sarada noticed that their Karma Seals is resonating. Boruto's Karma is reacting to Kawaki's. So another reason why I think it's a good thing that they added Sarada and Mitsuki into the training scene is because it gave them more insight and more knowledge about the Karma Seal. And that's something that they really didn't have. They didn't really know much about the Karma Seal in the manga. But in the anime, they actually are clearly finding out more things about the Karma Seal, just like Boruto and Kawaki did in this episode. And that does make sense, since they're all on the same team and stuff. They're all friends. It's good for them to know about each other. Even though Kawaki said he has no intentions of being friends with Sarada and Mitsuki. But we all know, I'm not going to spoil things, but, you know, even for the anime onlys, I'm pretty sure you guys get the feeling that Kawaki, he's going to start warming up. Because in this episode, you can see that he's actually starting to develop a more positive mindset. But anyway, so after Boruto powered up into his Karma Seal, he got noticeably stronger, and he did this the lightning style arrow move. It's the same move that he used against Naruto in their last training fight. But back in that episode, when I reviewed it, I was like, yeah, the way he did it when he fought against Naruto, when he had that sparring match against Naruto in the AO arc, or the Vessel arc, the way he did it in that arc it looked different from how it was in the manga, and it actually did look weaker. But in this episode, after he activated the Karma Seal, it actually did look like he looked how the move looked in the manga. And it's because of the karma seal making him more powerful. So in the manga, his lightning thing, it always looked how it looked in this episode. His lightning style arrow. That's how it's always looked like that in the manga every time he did it. Man, the anime it actually looked weaker before, but when he used the karma, you can see how noticeably more powerful it was. It actually looked like a big lightning arrow, similar to Sasuke's arrow at the end of Shippuden, his Indra's arrow, except it wasn't as big, but still it looked kind of like that. Whereas previously in the anime, it looked like just he used just some random lightning. But yeah, and that's something that I think the anime added in there as well, as far as like making it way more noticeable how much powerful Boruto and Kawaki gets with the karma seal, and actually explicitly stating that the karma seal does make them stronger. I mean, that's the obvious. That's obvious that the karma seal is a power up, but in the manga, I think they weren't as clear about it. But yeah, so after the sparring thing, Naruto ended up winning, but Boruto, no, I mean Naruto took Naruto noticed. He was like, it's not just the karma seal that make you more powerful. Your moves have improved as well. And then yeah, they ended the sparring match. Naruto complimented Boruto and said you're getting stronger and stuff. And then Sarada afterwards, she told Mitsuki, yeah, I don't want, I basically don't want to get left behind. I can't afford to get left behind. And then she was like, I've decided that I'm going to train with my dad to learn a jutsu that only I can learn. Now, this is great stuff. That scene in particular, that wasn't in the manga either. But in the anime, they're still making sure Sarada and Mitsuki, is still, relevant. In the manga, they were still relevant, but they weren't. It was like all these scenes. I mean, as a matter of fact, this whole episode, the manga chapter that I adapted, Sarada and Mitsuki, I don't think was in the manga chapter at all. So yeah, they're definitely adding some more details and giving some more attention to Sarada and Mitsuki, and that's cool. And at the end of the episode, she says she wants to learn the Chidori, and that's cool too, because that's something that manga readers wanted, including myself. We all wanted them to add something in with Sarada learning the Chidori, or I mean, I don't know if they're gonna show the trainer or not, but at least they mentioned it, and we know that she's gonna start training to learn the Chidori, because in the manga, I mean, this is not a big spoiler, but yeah, she's gonna eventually learn how to use it. Now, so she's gonna eventually do it in a fight. But anyways, yeah, it was just great stuff overall. And then they connected that to, one thing I really like in particular that the anime added in there is when Sarada, she was at the Uchiha, we seen some Sarada and Sasuke talking, and Sakura at their house, and she asked her dad to teach her the Chidori, and Sasuke, he was like, oh, so he had the same comment that Naruto had to Kawaki when he was like, oh, so it's about a rival trying to make something about a rivalry pushing you to do better and getting you to want to do better. That's something Naruto said something very similar when he was talking to Kawaki, because after the whole training thing, Kawaki, he was looking at his karma seal, and he had a flashback to his tragic past where Jigen just kept on beating him and beating him and stuff. And Jigen was like, the karma seal is the only thing that can basically fill you up or whatever, and you can't fix a broken vase or something like that. And yeah, but then Kawaki went to talk to Boruto about the training fight and stuff like that. And Kawaki, he said, hey, that Shadow Clone Jutsu thing, it seems pretty useful. And Naruto's like, yeah, you can get a lot of stuff done with it. Not just, it's not just good in battle, but you can get other stuff done with it. And Kawaki was like, and you can also hit yourself with it, and fight yourself to get, to let off stress. And Naruto's like, yeah, that won't make you feel better. And Kawaki was like, how you know? And, or something like that. And Naruto said, because I've been there and done that. I did that before. And yeah, and then that's when he brought up the whole thing about the rivalry, and how, you need an opponent to fight to push you to want to get better. And then he looked at that picture on the wall with him and Sasuke in Team 7. And then Boruto, he was walking to the room because it seemed like he wanted to confront Kawaki about not gluing the vase back together. But he overheard that conversation, and he just went and put the glue back on the table. So yeah, now one cool thing, like I said, that the manga didn't do, that the anime did do, is they showed that whole scene with Sakura talking to Sasuke. We didn't get that scene in the manga. And I like how Sasuke, he came to the same conclusion that Naruto did. I mean, they both know what it's like to be in a rivalry and stuff, and how that motivates you to want to get better. But he assumed that Sarada was motivated to want to get better because, you know, he assumed that she had some type of rivalry going where she was motivated to want to get better. And that actually was the case because she got motivated after seeing Boruto fight and she didn't want to get left behind. So Sasuke and Naruto, they understand that as they've been trying to surpass each other and trying to, you know, get better than each other throughout the series. Especially in part 1, they was always like trying to learn new jutsu and stuff. But yeah, I like how that, specifically, I like how the anime add that in there with Sarada, because while it does mainly seem like Kawaki is Boruto's rival, it is cool to see that Sarada is starting to see like Boruto as a rival as well, or, you know, she's starting to develop somewhat of a rivalry to Boruto as well. And that kind of does make sense because, I mean, it does make sense because they grew up together and stuff, and she wants to be the Hokage, so it makes sense that she'll get motivated to, you know, by Boruto and seeing how strong he's gotten, and she wouldn't want to get left behind because her goal is to become the Hokage. And they've kind of had a little rivalry going throughout the entire series, really, before Kawaki was even introduced, or shall I say, reappeared in the anime. But yeah, so I like how it seemed like I like how they add that in there with like Sarada trying to have a little bit of a rivalry, or, you know, having some type of a rivalry with Boruto as well. That was cool stuff. And yeah, and then at the end of the episode, Kashi and Koji, he saw Kawaki and he was like, "Yeah, I finally found you, Kawaki." And Delta, you know, she was kind of mad that Kashi and Koji, and she was curious as to why Kashi and Koji was able to enter the village, and she's not, because Kachi and Koji have just explained the whole thing about how they've been more cautious and how they, you know, can sense if your chakra is registered or not. So she was curious as to why Kachi and Koji could come in the village. And you can see in the preview, she's clearly getting very impatient. And they actually had her face looking really, really mad in the preview. She looked really mad. And yeah, in the preview also, you didn't see Sarada and Mitsuki there, so they're not going to be around when Boruto and Kawaki, you know, have their little sparring fight. They did set that up in this episode as well, as far as, you know, when Naruto explained to Kawaki about you need an opponent and stuff. That kind of set up the fact that Boruto and Kawaki are going to be sparring partners as well. So yeah, and Sarada and Mitsuki wasn't there, so yeah, they're not going to. So what's going to happen next? I think they're going to keep things how it was in the manga as far as what's going to happen with the next sparring fight and stuff like that. But yeah, overall, I think they did a fantastic job with this episode. Absolutely amazing. The story was fantastic throughout the episode. They once again drastically improved upon the stuff that they drastically improved upon the story that they adapted from the manga with this episode, and they did a fantastic job. So 10 out of 10 for the story as usual. 10 out of 10 for the story as usual. I'll say 10 out of 10 for the animation and 10 out of 10 for the art, because yeah, it wasn't like the best. We've obviously seen like some fantastic animation in Boruto. It wasn't like at the levels as, you know, a lot of the other stuff we've seen, but it was some really good animation in this episode. So yeah, 10 out of 10 all around. 10 out of 10 for the story, art, and animation. Overall, 10 out of 10 episode. I really enjoyed this episode. In particular, this is one of my favorite episodes in a while. So yeah, everything was just smooth in this episode. I didn't notice any artwork problems and stuff. So yeah, I just like this episode overall. And I especially like the fact that the anime added in some great anime original content to make the story even better. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. If you liked the video, please click the like button and drop a comment. Let me know what you thought of my review and of the episode in the comment section below. And click that channel notification bell to be notified on all of my future videos. With that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out. Every promise I've been praying for.